Hi, Gorge.
Hey babe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, and there's little Rafi,
Yeah, he just
little
woken up.
cameo.
I'm gonna have to keep my eye on him now, and he might need we might need to take some breaks just in case he.
That's not a problem at all. So how have you all been doing over this time of COVID? And obviously you've literally just had a baby. How old is Rafi now?
He's 7.5 weeks old, and so yeah, he's been a bright light throughout this whole
Yeah,
really bright light for us.
yeah. And I feel so blessed that you were able to have him kind of just before all of this happened, because in terms of in hospitals and stuff, it might have been a bit more stressful, and obviously now you've got all this time with him as well, so it's kind of been like perfect timing, really, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have so much. My heart is always thinking, honestly, always thinking about pregnant women at the moment.
Yeah,
But I think things are calming down. There's people are less afraid now, hopefully, of
yeah,
that. But yeah, I am lucky. But mainly, I'm lucky because I got the first 2 weeks of Rafi's life with my family before this all happened, and
oh,
I hold on to those 2 weeks like they're really, really, really precious to me, because the hardest thing has been missing my mum and my
yeah,
family. You bring it when you have a baby, you're bringing a gift to your family. I didn't really understand it before, but like the everyone's life changes in the family unit, and the gift that you've given them, their hearts are aching to see Rafi, and
yeah, I can
yeah, it's
imagine.
really sad but we're lucky that we got those first 2 weeks, and then we will have a lifetime ahead of us of more memories.
Exactly, yeah. Well, because there's a lot of things that have come up for me during this time that have made me realize the stuff that I'm really, really going to appreciate once this whole thing is lifted. So, would you say that's one of the big ones for you, is being able to have all that time with all your family?
Oh, 100%. Gratitude for family is something that's a massive takeaway from this, and
Yeah,
I'm sure that's the case for pretty much everyone around the world. You really, 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 really remember who in your life is important, and family is it's not an option. It's a must. And the thing about Zoom calls is it's so amazing to catch up, but we are tactile beings. We need. Oh, sweetie, I'm gonna give him a cuddle. We need to be held. We need to be held by
yeah,
our loved
Rafi's
ones.
showing.
We need to cuddle. So
Yeah,
so the gratitude for my family, like you must get it too, and I've seen on your posts, every day one of the gratitude posts is for your mum. It's just,
yeah,
isn't it just every day you're reminded how important that relationship is. And so my heart actually goes out as well, even more now, to people who lost their family, who don't have that
yeah.
their close family members. I'm always reminded, okay, well, at least I have a family to Zoom every day.
100%. And as much as previously I've said, some negative things about technology, really, in times like this, I really do feel so grateful for technology like Zoom, and
Same.
even like social media, to be honest, being able to connect with people, and
Yeah.
still feeling so close to people. But as you said, there's such a difference between being able to touch someone and hug someone and energetically be that close to someone. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm going to appreciate so much after this is all over. So yeah. And so what are the things, because for me personally, we was talking about like how this whole coronavirus has made us appreciate a lot of things, um, and also I think it's put things in perspective, and I definitely think motherhood is something that really puts things in perspective as well. So has there been anything that's come up for you in that sense?
Yes, I have been really on a journey with this, with motherhood. And I wanted to start by saying you were one of the people that I spoke to when I first found out I was pregnant. And, your wisdom helped me a lot when I was pregnant. And so I've learned a few things. One of the main things that I've learned, and has been put into perspective for me, is that there's no such thing as an expert in motherhood, because there's no such thing as an expert in life. So
Yeah.
you have, I'm an expert in Rafi. I'm becoming an expert in Rafi. I'm learning his smells and his sounds and his
Oh,
everything. And he's become, and I think that's one of the things that I'm taking away from this. Before I had Rafi, it's such an unknown, and you just really have to trust. And I knew when I was pregnant with Rafi, deep down, he was meant for me, and I was so excited, obviously, to become a mum. But I had my insecurities too. So all the people that are selling mother parenting books are very much experienced in their fields, but they cannot be an expert in your baby, because
Yes.
there's no such thing. We're all learning, and that's been a really profound uh, learning for me during this time, and it's why I want to pursue motherhood in general as a subject to learn about, because everyone's experiences are different.
100%. And I think it's also relatable in terms of life, and that puts, life in perspective. As you said, you're an expert in your own life, but we're all still discovering, what works for us. But the best teachers and pupils for ourselves are ourselves. So it's so important for us to, especially over this time, I felt like I've been much more in touch with myself and listening to my own inner guidance, which I think is, as you said, it was your intuition that guided you through, and just trusting yourself, that really guided you with a lot of stuff. And I think that's so important, in life in general. And, especially at the moment, we're hearing a lot of stuff on the news about, we're very bombarded with negativity at the moment. And I think, really what can come out of this is that connection to ourselves, and trying to not allow other people's opinions, other people's negativities to consume us and just take us over, because we don't know how long this is going to be. So really, this could be another few weeks, this could be another few months, like however long it might be, we don't know. And really, the time that this is all going to end will probably be the same, regardless of if we spend the whole time, stressing and allowing all this negativity to kind of take us over, or if we use this time to connect to our own inner guidance and like that stillness. And then we can actually get a lot of positives out of this time of self-isolation, which I think is really
100%.
important.
I think what you were just saying about intuition is something that has, again, it's about the motherhood thing. One of the strongest things that's come out of this for me is learning about mother intuition. I have had less distractions. So the more, and it's the same with all of us, we've had less distractions. We're less inclined to, there's less to do, that we all have time for our inner work. And so we're all tapping into our intuition, but mother's intuition it's been perfect timing in a way for me, because now I'm every day becoming stronger on my mother's intuition. The only downside, though, and it's very much a downside, is because my mum's not here, because my wider family aren't here, and Adriel's wider family, we don't get as many breaks, Adriel and I, and breaks are really important in the early stages, because you need that rest in order to fine tune your intuition, because sometimes your tiredness or your whatever else can get in the way. And so I feel like I'm in a bit of a boot camp in a way, which
Wow,
is a
yeah.
beautiful one, but it's a boot camp because you don't get the breaks that you normally would when you can, maybe the baby's looked after by someone else for that half an hour and you go and have a bath or something. Adriel and I share it between us, but I'm still, when Adriel's looking after the baby, I still want him to be able to have his full breaks. And yeah, that's just something I think more specific about mothers, but we all need a rest every so often, don't we? To be able to, yeah.
And we were just talking as well about how, it's like mothers need a rest, but also Mother Nature needs a rest. And I really do feel like this time of coronavirus has given Mother Nature, it's able to breathe again. Statistically, the pollution is reduced and all this and we can see it as well in terms of, I'm seeing so many more animals flying about and around and stuff. And it's really beautiful to see. I think that's another one positive that can come out of this.
I 100% agree with you, and I've seen your posts as well about like how you've been appreciating nature so much. I have been, I think lots of us have been, and with regards to having a newborn, and I am so grateful for this reduction in air pollution, because before Rafi was born, I was really, 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 really anxious about this. I've always been, conscious of climate change, but I had been selfish and not really focusing my time and energy on it. But when I had a baby, I have it's desperate to make sure that we are taking care of nature for selfishly, because I want my son to be able to enjoy that. And in a way, I think that's done me a world of good, because I'm now much more aware. And so in a really perverse way, I'm so grateful for this rest that we're giving to Mother Nature. And, you know, every day Rafi wakes up and there's birds tweeting out next to his window. And I just think, oh my goodness, thank God this is his first experiences of the earth in a way.
100%.
So there's always silver linings to this.
Yeah.
It's strange, but it is a social experiment. We all have to go easy on ourselves. Like, I think if there are any mums watching this as well, I realized yesterday when I was thinking about this conversation and some of the conversations that I'm having, we are all going through a stage of grief, and I think new mothers are as well. As much as we're putting on a brave face, and it is all actually beautiful, we are in a baby bubble, but there is a lot of grief too. We're mourning the fact that we haven't got, you know, the things that we wanted to do, and that applies to everyone. You know, you had plans to come see your family in this time, you know, it's not going to be able to happen anytime soon. Well, maybe, fingers crossed, it can, but we're all in that stage of grief as well. And yeah, just being, I think some of the things that this has put into perspective is you have to surrender, but you also cannot spiritually bypass what the actual, we are really all going through a hard time at the same as well.
100%. I think what's key is that, like, to allow any emotions that come up, but also to look at them as well and see what they may be telling you. Because, you know, talking about you know, when you have these ideas in your head of how you want your life to be at this time, and then it not being able to plan out, I feel like, you know, for a lot of us, we're kind of going through that grieving mourning process of, all of us had ideas of what we wanted this time to be. And I think it's about releasing our attachment to some of these things. And as you said, you know, it's not easy, and it really does have to just be like a process of just surrendering. But as you said, we can't, you know, we can't change this, so we just have to surrender to what is. And in doing so, that's quite a beautiful spiritual experience as well, because I think when we come out of this, we'll have less of an attachment to certain things that maybe didn't serve us as much as we thought that they maybe did. And obviously, you know, I'm not necessarily talking about stuff like family, but even, you know, even we can appreciate, like, I miss my family so much, like, you know that. But also at the same time, I feel like the emotions that are coming up that are making me feel upset about missing them, it's also teaching me that, you know, I'm strong enough within myself as well, and I don't need them to feel loved or to feel lovable. And so those emotions that come up, it's like I have to address them to you know, then heal them.
Wow, that's an incredible lesson. I really love that. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about how we are all, especially because you're on your own, you're isolating without another person there, so and I thought you've been doing it beautifully, and it comes with its own challenges. But yeah, you're right. Now you have to wake up with yourself every day and be happy with that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an incredible. And people pay thousands of pounds to go on these retreats.
Yeah.
Okay. To learn. We're like being given one for free.
Exactly, you know, so many blessings. We just saved ourselves so much money, basically.
Fabulous. Every year we'll do this.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that was an amazing conversation, and I really hope that it helps a lot of people. So I love you so much, and I love Rafi as well, and Adrian as well, your whole family. And it's so beautiful to see how much you're flourishing during this time. Oh, beautiful, Rafi.
Oh. Okay, I don't want to stir the poor boy. Okay, I love you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Love you. I'll end.